Let's move into the PulseChain ecosystem in terms of prices here. We talked a little bit about it at the beginning of the show. Looking at Pulse, we are at 4 zeros and almost up to a 4.6 now. We've really seen not good price action for ever, really. But back in March, obviously, is when we really had the big pumps. Now, though, we've seen at the beginning of this week, after another, I think it was a red weekly close, we saw Pulse fall back even a little bit more over the last couple of days, now rallying, of course, with the rest of the market on some of this bullish news that we've been seeing. So that is good. PulseX at 4 zeros and almost a 1950 basically. Incentive is at $2.35. We got Hex at 0055 and EHEX at 00133 basically. So basically all-time lows for Hex and for the new one, the actual Hex. Yeah, so if you want to pull up whatever chart you want to, I guess Pulse obviously always makes sense. We can look at the twin towers there, basically, of the chart. But yeah, what do you make of where we're at? I mean, like, we've obviously been bleeding for quite some time now. And again, the whole market is, I'm not like just picking on PulseChain or anything like that. But I mean, we are in a cool-off period, hoping that by the time we get to the fall, we're already overall, and I'm talking ETH and, you know, them lifting all boats. I think that we're going to start to perk up definitely by like September or so of this year all around. So, yeah, what do you make of where we're at right now? What do you think our time frame might look like here for Pulse?
Yeah, more of the same. It just, it really looks like we've got to round that off. I mean, obviously, it almost still looks like we're trending down a little bit more. I haven't seen a rounded off anything yet. So there is potential to come down to at least these support levels of the, you know, 0.00040 almost into here, where these support actually held. This would be the next logical point because we've already hit this support here for these candles. So yeah, the next support level would be this one right at the 4 level. And then again, if we do double bottom, you know, you're looking down to the 3701 area. So yeah, more of the same. DGen Moonboy, he sent us a video this morning. One of the first things that was mentioned in it was a quote from John Maynard Keynes that says, markets can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. And I thought that was just very fitting for what we're seeing right now. And that's why markets actually people get shaken out. So, you know, it was just very, like I said, looking at this just cascade of red candles made me chuckle when I read that little quote from him. So yeah, I thought it was pretty fitting.
And he's definitely right about that. I mean, the markets in either direction can do things to drive you absolutely insane. And it's a matter of you being able to, you know, just keeping both your hands on the wheel and not capitulating, basically. Yeah, it has been a very wild ride very tough ride over the last few months for PulseChain for sure. But I mean, you know, to your point, you said this at the top of the show, and we talk about this frequently. You said about like dodging things on Twitter, like seeing things every now and then that you almost engage with and don't. You know, I find that it kind of depends on the day, kind of where you're at with that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't really tweet. It's just not. I'm not good at it. I don't want to be good at it. It's just not fun to me, and it's just too much. But I do value for sure some of the content that some guys put out. Obviously, some people are just like infighting and stuff. We'll kind of get more to the infighting thing here, I think, in a bit with some of the topics we're going to talk about. But it really depends on the day. Like sometimes I can see stuff on there and it just rolls right off my back. And then other times it's not like it gets to me to where I'm like sitting there. I'm never in a zone. I'm rarely, I should say, in a zone. I mean, we're all human where I'm reading it all day and pissing myself off further. I mean, we all have bad days where like you accidentally fall into that trap, I think. But you know, some days I'm able to just like see it, move on, it doesn't bother me or anything, and then some days it's like this is just turning me off. I don't want to see this stuff. You know what I mean? It just depends, I think, on what else you have going on in your life that day, you know.
Yeah, moods can definitely affect how you're interpreting the tweets, right? For me, this being my this is my second bear cycle, I guess.
Right.
Wait, yeah, this will be the third bull cycle. So my second
Mhm.
bear. It rolls off my back pretty easily. Like I don't pay it a whole lot of mind. I try not to get myself involved with any of it. I'll read it and chuckle and think some of it's funny. And sometimes I message to you and be like, look at this bozo, and or whatever it may be, you know, just some of the comments that we kind of chuckle about. But don't get involved. I mean, that's the best way to not let it bother you. Because then what happens is then you get involved, then your name gets dragged through the mud, then they start throwing arrows at you, and that's obviously no fun. Community drama is right, Briz. There's always something, right? And
Briz
I think
Briz trying to start some with us the other day, letting us know what other people say about us on some other channels.
You know, we'll talk about that later. I think. No, I know, but make sure you use your ideas tonight, not somebody else's there.
Yeah, I will do my best. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make sure the proper people get credit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, again, you know, like I said, you gotta let this stuff just roll off and not let it bother you. Don't get involved, because then again, it just becomes something that is pointless, right? You're getting yourself into something that you just don't need, and it's not enjoyable for anybody.
Yeah, you can get down a real bad rabbit hole real quick. So I would say to try to stay off as much as you possibly can. Let's get into a couple other topics here. So yeah, definitely some more cleaning out for PulseChain here over the next couple of months. But you know, I'm hoping that we have seen the worst of it. I've hoped that many times in the past, and you never know. I mean, it's going to be a slow slog for not just PulseChain, but a lot of these altcoins getting out of this range, I think. So
yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Keep our head up, and if the market gets you down, just maybe don't pay attention to it too much for a couple of days and do something else, you know.
Yep.